All right, we're back again with the Impact of Educational Leadership, Part 7. I'm your host, Isaiah Drone III, along with Professor Jeff Willie. Our panelist this evening is the incomparable Delna Bryan. First, we have Professor Jeff Willie. He's an executive director with the John Maxwell team, specializing in personal growth and leadership development. Professor Willie is an educator, consultant, and a conflict resolution trainer, a mediator with over 30 years in conflict mediation, and a former facilitator of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Professor Willie currently travels presenting high-level church, school, leadership, and professional growth workshops throughout the United States and throughout parts of West Africa. Professor Jeff is married to his high school sweetheart, Pat, for over 42 years. They have 2 daughters, Dr. Katrina Willie Nsoma, a pediatrician, and Ursula Willie, an attorney, and 1 grandson. Next, we have Delna Bryan. She is an American educator, orator, aspiring author, and advisor to educators around the world. Bryan is a dominant leader in the African American and Hispanic community. Bryan is a native of the Republic of Panama. She is a key proponent and member of the Delta Kappa Gamma International, where she held both local office and state committees. Delna has organized nationwide honor society competitions. She has been an APA Spanish language and literature instructor for years. She has been involved with inner city children ranging from Louisiana to Texas, alongside coalition groups, church leaders, philanthropists, and politicians, with a long-range goal of building the community's economic strength and pride by a focus on self-help and schooling. Ms. Bryan, from humble beginnings in Panama, first came to the United States on a scholarship to Anderson College, now Anderson University in Anderson, Indiana. After graduating from college, she went back home to teach in a rural part of Panama. While there, she did workshops at the University of Panama for English teachers, and she taught high school ESL. After some time, she became the director of the Panamanian North American Cultural Center. She came back to the United States to teach at St. Augustine High School in New Orleans. There, she continued to mentor and teach. She earned 2 masters, one from the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, in administration, and another from the University of Granada, Spain, in teaching the Spanish language and culture. She is currently teaching Spanish at Young Men's Leadership Academy in Pleasant Grove, Texas. A lifelong learner as a student, Ms. Bryan knows that she was sent to impart what knowledge she has to both teachers and students.
Wow.
Delna and Professor Willie, say hello to the people, please.
Good evening. I am standing in awe. I'm sitting in awe being on the line with the incomparable Delna Bryan. I am just hammered by this superstar educator. So thank you for allowing me to be here. I consider it an honor to be here with Miss Delna Bryan.
Wow. I'm listening to all that was read about me. Professor Willie, I am in awe of you also. You're amazing. It's astounding what you have done in the field of education. So we have a lot to learn from each other.
Yes, ma'am. I am here. I have my pencil ready to take notes tonight. I come as a student.
Same here.
Well, all right. Well, tonight's topic is mentoring the next generation of educators in educational leadership. For decades, evident and consistent research, teachers is the most powerful school-related determinant of student success. When mentors are well-selected, well-trained, and given the time to work intensively with new teachers, They not only help average teachers become good, but good teachers become great. And because new teachers are most often assigned to the poorest schools and the most challenging classrooms, instructional mentoring programs are needed. These programs are needed to provide a powerful level for closing the teacher quality gap and ensuring that all students, regardless of their backgrounds, have a real opportunity to succeed. Successful mentors have many important aptitudes, but above all, they are exceptional educators with a track record of fostering significant student learning gains in diverse settings. My first question is going to go to Professor Jeff Willie. So, Professor Jeff Willie, what are some ways that the impact of educational leadership can shed light to the common misunderstandings of the differences between mentorship and coaching?
Your introduction, Isaiah, was absolutely perfect and right on. So much insight in your opening paragraph about the next generation of educational leaders and the mentoring aspect of that, which is key and significant. And sometimes there is a misconception of mentoring and coaching, and sometimes people bridge those two together, and they do have a lot of commonality, no doubt about that, because the main purpose of each one of those is to help another person reach their full potential, or to go from good to great and from great to even better. So that's the focus of that. And when you look at the mentorship aspect of that, there's a common interest, and there should be a personal relationship. The aspect, of course, is professional, but comes out of that is a part of personal relationship as well, because you're spending time with a person and you want them to grow. And of course, the mentoring is most defined as professional relationship, personal relationship, with an experienced person being the mentor and with a less experienced person being the mentoree, and to help them develop those specific skills and knowledge. And what you're referring to here is the education to one from a good teacher to a great teacher, and you are absolutely on the right. The most attainable thing that we see of student achievement is a relationship with that teacher, and that teacher has been mentored. I quoted a couple of weeks ago in one of the other recordings, and I said it this way: if you don't feed the teachers, they'll eat the students. And so that relationship with the leader and campus got to be significant. And so in searching out what I call phenomenal mentors for those teachers, to mentor those teachers, you establish a relationship with them saying, I value you. When I value you, I'm empowering you, and I trust you, and I want you to establish this relationship with this person to become their mentee, and they're going to help you become a great teacher, because I want to invest my time into you. The key component of that is I'm investing my time in the person. So the mentoring aspect of that comes with one of the key components is they have certainly a shared experience. They are both teachers, they are educators, and they have those shared experience, and they lay the foundation for that good relationship. The other key component is that they respect each other. That comes with any relationships, begins with respect, and that's focused on the mentoring aspect. And I'm going to define coaching there very shortly in regards to that, and try to give you a little different perspective on that. But all these key components and those key characteristics and these relationship characteristics are key elements of each one of those. And then trust. Certainly must be a trust. When you have a mutual respect for a person, you trust that person, you develop those shared experiences, and then guess what? You're trusting that person because you feel comfortable they're going to guide you to the end. They're going to be with you until the end. And then, of course, reciprocity. That relationship and that mentor and mentee can't be just one-sided, because that mentor has to be open-minded and also a student of learning and teachable as well as coachable, because they can learn something from the mentee. And so it has to be a level reciprocity. And then one of the other major components is that eventually it leads to what I call the mutual enjoyment. I look forward to spending my time with you because I am growing as a mentor and you are growing as a mentee. And my focus to mentor you is that you are eventually going to pass it forward to others. And you are going to be mentoring others because people are going to see how you are growing, and eventually you will be one of the mentors on the organization or the school campus, and you are now developing teachers, other teachers, incoming teachers, very young teachers to become great teachers, the focus of that mentoring relationship. The coaching aspect of that coaching is a profession. That's what we do as coaches. And our focus is a professional part of that. We can do individual coaching and we can do group coaching as well. But the focus is it is certainly a profession. And then my responsibility is somehow I got to see things before you see things as a coaching client. I understand the perspective. My focus is to move you to the next level. Coaching is foreseeing, paving the way. And same thing with mentoring, coming alongside you while helping you achieve your goals and overcoming those limited paradigms. When teachers come in the profession, sometimes they don't have limiting paradigms. They desire to be a great teacher. When folks are being coached, sometimes they come in with limited paradigms from whatever background they come from. And a coach primary is doing a lot of helping an individual do a lot of reflection by asking particular questions, helping them solve their problems, helping them focus on those internal issues that they are battling with. That's what a coach will do. And a coach asks a lot of questions. They ask, what are you doing to invest in yourself? What are you doing to invest in others? Are you developing the person within you by asking those particular questions? And, of course, all those other aspects of being a mentor and a coach. You have to have dignity. You have to be honest, be responsible. You've got to have mutual respect for people, and you're not to judge. And one thing about a mentor, sometimes a mentor may give unwelcome advice because of they know the profession. As a coach, we tend to not to give unwelcome advice because we're not sure if the coaching client is going to follow the advice. We want that coaching client to come up with their own advice. We want them to lay their own path. As a mentor, I am helping that person develop that path as well, but my focus with that because we have those shared experience. As a coaching client, I don't need to have those shared experience. I spend time talking to you and coaching you through the aspect because of your experiences. And those are the primary differences I have witnessed as a coach myself, as we coach. Always need a coach and always to be coachable. And I hope that sheds some light and some clarity on that. And there's a lot more that goes with that, Isaiah, that I could share. But I want to make sure that I spend most of my time being a student tonight listening to the great Ms. Delna Bryan.
Right? I know, wow. And me too.
Wow.
Let me retract really quick, and then I'm going to ask the next question to Delna. I loved what you said about coaching. You said coaching is a profession, and it's perspective, and it's foreseeing, and it's mainly catered to welcome advice. And you help people lay their own path based off of their vision and their perspectives. But you keep advising them to reflect off of different questions and as related to investments, internal investments and external investments. I heard a word today called introspection, and this term is inspecting yourself internally, basically. And so, but it's really great what you said, and how mentors are mainly experienced people or persons that have the experience of what someone is trying to do pertaining to their field, and they can give them more insight and feedback, and also kind of act, I would say, almost as a GPS to let them know where they are, so they can have direction on where they're going. I think that's, you didn't say that exactly, but that's what I got from what you said.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for that insight.
Location is very good. Now, with Delna, qualities that impact motivation, meaning, and purpose, these qualities that impact teacher-student relationship, qualities that impact good instruction and methodologies. This includes technology, of course. Qualities that impact classroom management, qualities that impact rewards and correction, that addresses extraordinary student behavior. Mentoring takes place for personal, professional leadership as it relates to family and even spiritual purposes. Delna Bryan, describe the specific needs of millennial learners and offer tips for us, for both mentor and mentee, on how to foster and maintain a positive mentorship.
First of all, I was amazed to listen to quite a few of the words that Professor Willie used that were going through my mind. Because millennial learners are not that much different from we are. We share the same passion, we share the same vision for teaching, or else we would not be there. There are three types of mentors. You have your inductive mentor. I'm just assigned to you. I really don't have a relationship with you. You have your peer mentor. That's still not, as Professor Willie talked about, a coach. That is still not a profession. I'm just there as a help to you. I like to think that millennials need something beyond. They need that developmental coaching. They need that three-prong, what I envision as an apprentice type mentoring. You have your journeyman, you have your apprentice, and then you have the third person in the mentoring group, your expert. And all three of you learn from each other. Your millennial is your apprentice. 1 year into this, your second year, you become the journeyman. Your third year, when you have worked out what you need to help this person, you have observed, you have built this relationship with them, you have communicated a little more with them, then you have your expert person that you will say, this is the person that I mentored. We talk about being honest with them. That's crucial. We talk about being trustworthy with them. That is very crucial. Another thing you have to be with them is reliable. All of my mentees, at whatever time I have mentored them, have my phone number. And they know that they can call me at any time. If it's midnight and they're having a problem that they want to talk over, they're welcome to call me. So you, as a mentor to a millennial, must be reliable. You need to encourage them. Some of them have the college work. They have done the work in college, but they just don't have that confidence as yet. So you have to be empathetic to them. You need to know where they're coming from to be able to share your knowledge, to share your skills, and share your experiences with them. I remember listening to Professor Willie talk about sometimes when you are talking to them, you have to be cognizant of the fact that they are not responsive. They are not really listening to what you are saying. So you have to know how to phrase what you're saying to them. You have to know who they are really to be able to communicate with them, because they are at a first year coming out of college, they might have different ideas. Yes, and you, the mentor, can learn from them. Let them know that. It's a two-prong or a three-prong. It depends on how you put it. Communication level. I can learn from you. One of the biggest things in mentoring is listening. You have to listen at times with that inner ear. It is not just listening to the noise or whatever happened that day, but you need to listen to where their fears are, exactly what are they saying between black and white, because there's a lot of gray area. Did you pick up on that gray area of your mentee? Did you pick up really what they were saying to help them? They also have to get to know you as a mentor. I'm a very passionate person. I speak assertively. Some say it's aggressively. They have to understand you and know where you are coming from. Sometimes they have to understand that you might say something boldly. So it's a two-way street. This is not a one-way street. The millennial will also have to understand the veteran teacher, and there is no better way to understand each other by having that channel of communication open at all times. You go into their classroom, you are not there to evaluate them. You are there, first of all, when you walk in as a mentor, you smile. You give that smile of encouragement. You are there to help them. You are there to see what you can do to help, whether it's classroom management or what it is they need. A smile goes a long way. You're not an administrator. You are their friend. And you are there to look and see where you are going to bring them from point A to point B or point C, and how you're going to get there. Some millennials tend to be a little uncomfortable because, yes, it's their first year or their first couple of months in a classroom. They tend to be on the reserve side. You encourage them again and let them know, with me as your mentor, you can say anything at any time. It is not going to affect you. It is not going to, where we come back to the word trustworthy. You build that trust that they know whatever they said to you will stay with you. It will not go to anything beyond you. You're their sounding board. You're there to help them with advice. You're there to give them a different point of view. You're there to give them feedback. At the same time, you are there to challenge them. You want them to grow, and you're going to help them to grow.
Wow.
I got one word. Okay, you ready for this, Professor?
If it's probably the same words, I got to go, wow.
Well, I got that one too, but my word is grateful. I'm so grateful to have you on here. Oh my God, Delna Bryan, I'm grateful for you. And Professor Willie, I am too. Professor Willie, what did you get from all that? My page is filled with notes. It's like it's all blue.
I am. Mine is, I got key components, and she, Delna emphasized some of the key things. It was trust, reliable, empathy, listening. Listen for that gray area that's not being spoken verbally, but it's being spoken, and you have to be very, very attuned to what's there being said. And I like this key component, smile. That smile goes a long way. You are not there to evaluate or to judge. You're there to help. And they need to know that you are there to help. You are on their team. You are on the journey with them. You are walking side by side with them. You have embraced them, and you are there to encourage them. And they have your phone number, as Ms. Bryan put out. They can call if they have any questions about some things. And one of the other things that I picked up, I think I stated as well, as a mentor, you are in this with them, and you must be your mentee because you can learn a lot from those that you are mentoring. Mm-hmm. That was so significant, and I got to and challenge them, help them grow by challenging them, because they must come out of their comfort zone in order to grow. If you remain in your comfort zone, you tend not to grow. And I really took a lot from that. I got a page of notes, and I don't know if anything else I need to say.
Yes, you do.
Again, I'm so grateful. Let me recap. I'm gonna recap briefly because there's so much. It's so rich, Delna. The information that you just poured out seemingly effortlessly. But you said some things that's pretty much aligned with Professor Willie. Professor Willie always said, "Listen with your heart." Well, you said the same thing basically. You said, "Listen with the inner ear." So that you can pick up on the gray areas. And I think to do that, you have to then go back to listening with your heart, right? And being that soundboard for them to vent, but also giving them feedback, because you're positioning yourself in a way that you have relationship because they're in your presence and they have faith in you, which gives allegiance, which means that you can serve each other. And so this was just simply amazing how you broke it down in the three prongs of apprenticeship, journeyman, and expert to kind of give people a GPS on like where they are, you know. And I don't think you really, I mean, you put a time stamp on it, but you know, there's learning curves for every person, right? But this is crucial because you said that you got to be reliable. If you're going to be a mentor, you must be reliable. You must give, well, let me rephrase that. If you're going to be a good mentor, you must be reliable. You must show empathy. You must be able to phrase your words in a way that it draws attention to your speech. Oh, I could go on for weeks discussing this.
Yes.
But for time's sake,
what one of the keys at the beginning about those developmental stages, and just about every profession used those terms, apprentice, at the beginning, just coming out, and then you certainly with a person and a journeyman, and you're an expert or master technician. And if you look back at your military career, Isaiah, you may have went through some of that same steps yourself. I know I did. And then when I was in the Air Force, I was an apprentice when I first came in, and I needed someone to coach me, guide me, mentor me, and someone that I trusted, someone that trusted me was going to walk alongside me. And I got to the point where I'm a journeyman, and now I am responsible to pay it forward, or at least to pay it backwards, to go and get another apprentice and then bring them up and let them know we can walk this journey together. And then eventually you get to become that expert or that master technician or that master teacher, and that was absolutely amazing. I wrote that down. I'm reading off my notes, so I'm not speaking out of my head. I'm reading off my notes here because I was taking notes like just as a student.
Oh, yeah, me too. And, you know, that brings us to our next question, because now let's talk about mentoring methods. Let's talk about mentoring methods. And I'm going to ask you, I'm going to pull from you, Professor Jeff Willie, on this next question. Because you know me, I want to do a performance outcome. You know, I don't want to just talk about it. I want to see, okay, what can we do about this? So how can the impact of educational leadership help districts and states develop comprehensive instructional mentoring programs?
Great question. A lot of it has already been answered in actual procedures, but the main thing that I'm deeply concerned about, Isaiah, is the mindset of our leaders, and sometimes even educators tend to operate in silos. by operating in silos, we tend to be self-absorbed and not mentoring. And so we got to have what I call a paradigm shift or a cultural shift from the top down, and realizing that in order to be effective educators, next generation of leaders, we have to come out of our silos. And what I mean by silos, sometimes as educators, we tend to be self-absorbed, and I'm in it for me, and I am on a career path to get to the next level, whatever I need to do to get there as an educator, as a teacher, or as an administrator. I'm in the teaching primarily. I'm not making the same type of income I would as an administrator, and so I'm going to do my best to move to the next level as fast as I possibly can. And so I'm in the education profession not to educate the children. I'm in the education profession for me. And so that becomes a silo. And if we ever shift that paradigm some of our educators, you're not here for you. Once you raise your right hand and say, I'm an educator, and I am going to raise up the next generation, you have to have a heart to serve. Whatever ask of you, you have to have a heart to serve. And so we need to have a paradigm shift to help us remove some of those hierarchical barriers and to learn to develop those internal and succession plans, develop those leaders. As we talk about that mentoring program, but it's got to be from top down. And I know I'm giving a broad perspective of that, but even at the local campus level, which is basically an educational center, it has to be there, has to start there as well. Even if it's not at the district level or the state level, we have to have someone on that campus, an instructional coach, instructional leader, campus leader, has a mindset to serve, a servant leader, a servant teacher, and they're there for one reason, to serve those educators and to serve those students. And we have what we call develop an internal succession plan and not an internal competition plan, because as I look at some of our educators, I'm witnessing a lot of internal competition plans. I need to get to the next level, and what do I need to get there? And realizing that once you come in as a new person, you have to earn the right to educate me. You have to build a relationship with me. Once you establish that relationship with me, I now am willing to learn from you. All those things that we talked about, those characteristics of mutual respect, listening from the heart, leading with the heart, add value to people, always be coachable, find the keys to a person's heart, listen with your heart, and while you're serving those people, you serving those students and serving those educators and mentoring others, what is the key to their heart? As we talked about, and I use quite often, what are their whys? Or what is their one particular why? Why do they get up? Are they in education to change the world, to change the mind of another student? Or is the why is because of them? Or is the why because everyone in their family, this has been the rite of passage, is to go into education to get to the next level, to become an administrator, to become a district administrator, to become a state administrator, And then once we know that why, and then why did you come in the profession? You have to find that why. You have to have that paradigm shift, or those instructional mentoring program is not for me to get to the next level, is to help another educator get to the next level by adding value to that person. I always want people to exceed me. If I have an attitude, I want people to exceed me. That means that I'm not competing to exceed them and get to the next level. I want you to grow to the next level where you are walking into my shoes and you are exceeding me. And that's got to be the mindset of our educators. And that established those instructional mentoring program is not about me. It's helping another person reach their full potential.
Professor Willie, I wish I could just give you a high five right now. I mean, jumping in the air high five, because that is it. You got it, sir. You nailed it. And from that, I want to ask Delna the same question. Let me repeat the question, because, guys, I'm gonna tell you something. I went over Delna's bio, but there's a lot of things I left out that this woman has done on this earth, on this planet. She is so humble. You would not. I'm gonna tell you who you remind me of, Delna. You remind me of Barbara Jordan. That's who you remind me of.
Wow. That's an honor. A great honor.
You remind me of Barbara Jordan and Maya Angelou.
Yes.
You remind me of those two.
Definitely.
That's an honor to be linked to both of them.
Let me ask you this.
The same question?
Right, go ahead. It was astounding what?
It's astounding to hear Professor Willie use some of the same words that have gone through my mind for years. It is not about me, Delna Bryan. It is not about me at all. It is about helping this teacher to go beyond me. My mentee is supposed to go beyond me, to be able to teach that younger person, that student coming, more than I or more than he or she knew. It is important for us to understand that I use the analogy that I am planting a seed. That's all I'm doing, putting this seed in the ground. And I am going to water this seed, and I am going to watch it germinate, and I'm going to watch it grow, and I am going to watch it later on bear fruit. I see my students becoming expert teachers here in Dallas ISD. I see my students being professionals. They have surpassed me. They're lawyers, they're doctors. Some are professional football players, professional basketball players, or whatever they are. That is why I teach. And that is why I mentor a younger person to be able to do the same with their students. You have to be that servant, as Professor Willie said, that servant mentor, that servant leader, that person that will give back. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and sometimes you might have to go back to school. It was my desire. Every 2 years, I went back to some university to see what was new as far as pedagogy, what was new as far as curriculum, what was different, how am I going to help my mentee if I don't know what they're getting in college? This is crucial for me to understand where they're coming from. Another thing I ask most of my mentees is to read. Read. We used to have a program here in Dallas called Drop Everything and Read. Let your students see you reading. And what are you going to read? You are reading everything and anything you can get your hand on to help yourself, and then help that mentee, and help that student. Belong to professional organizations. Belong to, for example, I am a language teacher. I belong to the American Association of Teachers of Spanish and Portuguese. Get actively involved in them. I belong to ACFO, the American Council of Teaching Foreign Languages. I belong to the American Association of Supervision and Curriculum. Read everything these associations send out and put in your hand. Show your mentee this is a way of doing, getting involved to be able to build that instruction that they need. Another thing you have to do, we're not just banking methods or banking skills or banking knowledge. No. we're beyond just banking. You are supposed to share that knowledge, those skills, those experiences with your mentee. You're supposed to go beyond what you have to help them. Mentoring is an art. It's a passion. It's a love. You're not born a mentor. This is something you develop over time if you love people. You have this passion for sharing with them, you will do it.
Hey, that was absolutely awesome. You know, one of the things I picked up that she shared that really stuck out, and I think I may have stated it and as well. I'm certainly going to paraphrase, but I'm going to give it another quote for it. It's, this is not about us. We are not banking this information. We're beyond banking. And the words that I use with that to define some things that I talk about, become a river, not a reservoir.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic.
May I use that?
Yes, you may.
A river, not a reservoir.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I am so excited. You just don't know. I'm so excited. I can just belt out right now. Let me ask you a question, because I am just in awe right now. Who are your mentors, and how do they help you?
Well, when you talk about who are my mentors, we have to go way back. My first mentor was my mother. My mother encouraged me at all times. Whenever I had let's do, she would say go. That's my first recollection of a mentor. Then I had a third grade teacher who was awesome. I will never forget the woman, Myrtle B. Mulcair. She was the best mentor I ever had from the time I was in the third grade on through high school. I have had mentors. Again, my mentors do not come in one gender. My mentors are male or female. My mentors do not come in one age group. Sometimes my mentors were 30 years older than I was, and I would just listen and soak up the information that they were giving me. Sometimes my mentor would be my student. I can learn from them, and I let them know. I applaud them when there's a student that I am learning something from. I let them know. Thank you for teaching me this. So my mentor over the years have been a diverse set of male, females, different age groups. My mentors are not always educators either. My mentor can be or was a custodian at one time. My mentor at another time was the cafeteria manager. These were people with diverse experiences that I needed to be able to network, and I needed to get through life to be able to help someone else, because they had seen aspects of a school that I would not have seen as a teacher. So I had a lot to learn from them. And for each and every one of them, male or female, old or young, I say thank you. I give thanks to the Lord for sending them my way to help me through this journey, to help me through this university of life, because we all have to go through life, for me to help mentor somebody else.
That was just
All right. Well.
All right. Well. Awesome.
It seems like we're out of time.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to follow behind the great Delna Bryan. So before we leave, guys, give us one takeaway from tonight. Who wants to go first?
Professor Willie?
I might want to say first is that one of the things I came up with, the fact is stay coachable, stay hungry, and remain relevant. And the only way you can remain relevant is drop what you're doing and read. And get back on those campuses and stay connected to what's being taught to those millennials so you can stay connected to those millennials by staying relevant, what's current information. And you can be mentored by someone 30 years older or 30 years younger. They have something that you don't have and something that you need to be able to live this life in this university of life.
My takeaway is to be empathetic to your mentees, to be reliable, to be honest, to be trustworthy. Encourage them. Remember, they might be at different levels. Challenge them. Let them know that you are there as their friend. Remember to smile when you go into the room. You are there walking beside them, to help them, to guide them. This road is not an easy road at times, but you are there to impart some of what you have, your knowledge, your skills, your experiences with them. Thank you.
Wow. Well, this was another evening of the Impact of Educational Leadership. This is part 7. I'm your host, Isaiah Drone III, along with Professor Jeff Willie. And tonight we had the great Delna Bryan. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.